Welcome to Go Fact Yourself, the Top 10 Lists podcast. Today we're heading off on a pretty wild top 10 journey. We're diving into this strange world where the super rich try to cheat death.
Yeah, bend reality even. It gets pretty weird.
You pulled together some amazing top research on this.
We did, and we've boiled it down to the 10 most, let's say, outlandish attempts. Billionaires, royalty, you name it. We're talking cryogenic freezing, gold elixirs,
Yeah.
even a legally declared vampire.
Okay, wow. Prepare to say WTF. No way that's real. Multiple times, I suspect.
Probably. It's fascinating, a bit unsettling, sometimes darkly funny.
So our mission for this top 10 journey, unpack these stories, figure out the why, and just see how far people will go and how much they'll spend to avoid the inevitable.
Right, the ultimate pursuit.
Let's kick off this top 10 journey. Number 10, the casino tycoon who became a desert mummy.
Ah, Howard Hughes.
Yes, his final years. The sources paint this picture of just extreme fear, fear of death, fear of germs.
Totally consumed by it. The top research shows him becoming incredibly reclusive, like obsessed with germs dictating every little thing, and the self-medication. That was really something.
Tell me about that. Codeine.
Yeah, codeine, other experimental drugs, and apparently, get this, sometimes injected with needles that were broken off under his skin.
What? Seriously? Ugh.
Yeah, it suggests a real level of desperation, you know?
It's just mad when you think about his money, his earlier life, the genius inventor image.
Right. The irony's huge, all that wealth, all that power, and he ends up, well, emaciated, unrecognizable.
I read the FBI needed fingerprints to identify him after he died.
Exactly. That's how far gone he was.
So you almost wonder if he thought his success meant he could just opt out of dying.
It's possible, right? A mindset totally detached from, normal human limits. He controlled so much. Maybe mortality was the one thing he couldn't stand not controlling.
We had this phrase when we were doing the top research for the top 10 journey,
Oh, yeah.
that he basically became a cryptid in real time.
Huh. I like that. A known figure just vanishing into mystery.
Yeah. And the contrast, the money versus what he became physically. The sources said he looked like a, quote, cursed raisin.
Oof. Grim, but memorable.
Okay, let's move to number 9 on our top 10 journey. The playboy who froze his head in Arizona.
Right. A totally different vibe here. This is all about future tech.
James Bedford, 1967, the first person ever cryonically frozen.
Yep. The basic idea for anyone listening is hoping science down the line can, thaw him out, fix whatever killed him, maybe even reverse aging.
So they freeze the body or sometimes just the head?
Right. They use these cryoprotectants, chemicals, to stop ice crystals forming and damaging the cells. Bedford's body, initially, and later just his head, I believe, he's currently in what they call cryosuspension.
Where is he now?
Alcor Life Extension Foundation, Scottsdale, Arizona.
It's a massive leap of faith, isn't it? Banking on future science that doesn't exist yet.
Totally, and it's not cheap.
How much are we talking?
The sources we look at say Alcor charges something like $200,000 for the whole body.
Wow.
Or you can go for the head-only option, neuropreservation, they call it. That's around $80,000.
80 grand for your head in a freezer?
Basically, yeah. We joked during the top research phase, it's like $80,000 Tupperware soup.
Oh, that's dark, but it does make you think, what is the self? Is it just the brain?
It's a huge philosophical question, alongside the sci-fi gamble.
And just imagining his brain frozen since the 60s.
Yeah, older than disco.
Waiting for, Windows 3000 to boot it up someday. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. Okay, from the future, back to ancient Egypt for number 8 on our top 10 journey.
The pharaoh who staged his own immortality ad campaign.
This is brilliant. Ramses II.
The mummy needing a passport? That story is amazing.
It sounds fake, but it's true. The top research confirms it. 1974, he needed to go to Paris for preservation work.
And he needed travel documents.
Yep. Egyptian law at the time. Human remains, crossing borders, need a passport. No exceptions, apparently.
So even a pharaoh dead for 3,000 years needs paperwork.
Pretty much. It's this amazing clash of ancient history and modern bureaucracy.
And the passport itself? What did it say?
Occupation. King, deceased.
Get out.
Seriously. And they even included a photo. A mummy photo.
Oh my God, imagine being the customs guy stamping that.
Right. And when he arrived in Paris, he got full military honors, like a visiting head of state.
A state visit, millennia late. That's incredible staying power.
It really is. We were thinking that doing the top research for this top 10 journey,
Yeah.
the amount of admin this mummy generated, probably more than most living people.
He's basically history's first influencer mummy. still getting headlines.
Totally. Okay. Number 7 on the top 10 journey takes a turn for the slightly more sinister.
The heiress who drank gold to live forever, Elizabeth Bathory.
The very same. The infamous Hungarian countess.
Known for the alleged blood bathing.
Right. That's the big legend. But our top research also found she was into drinking colloidal gold, believed it was an anti-aging thing.
Drinking gold.
Yeah, it sounds weird now, but back then, alchemy was a big deal among the wealthy. Gold symbolized immortality, purity. So the idea of consuming it wasn't that far out for the time.
No scientific basis, obviously.
None whatsoever. But it's interesting how these ideas linger.
How so?
Well, the sources mention modern pseudoscience pushing stuff like monatomic gold with similar anti-aging claims even today.
Huh. History repeating itself with wellness trends?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It made us think, during the top research, she was literally putting the dye in dietary supplements.
Ouch. Yeah.
Hmm?
And the comparison to goop.
It feels apt, right? That enduring appeal of a magic bullet, whether it's gold elixir or, jade eggs.
Right. Okay, hold on tight for number 6 on our top 10 journey. This
Yeah.
one feels very 21st century.
Oh, yeah. The CEO who got young blood transfusions like a vampire tech bro.
Silicon Valley meets Dracula.
Sort of.
Yeah.
The top research focused on people like Peter Thiel showing interest in this thing called parabiosis.
Parabiosis.
Basically transfusing blood from young people into older people. There were some mouse studies suggesting potential rejuvenation.
Mouse studies. Not exactly humans.
Not at all. But this startup called Ambrosia actually started offering it commercially.
They were selling young people's blood.
Plasma, technically. And yeah, the top research said they were targeting donors aged like 16 to 25.
Wow. That feels ethically dicey.
Extremely. And expensive. Ambrosia charged about $8,000 a liter for the plasma.
$8,000?
Yep. But then the FDA stepped in, put out a warning in 2019.
Saying what?
Basically, that there's zero proven benefit for anti-aging or anything else from these transfusions in humans. Don't do it.
A pretty clear smackdown.
Absolutely. We had this image during the top research for the top 10 journey.
Let me guess.
A fridge somewhere in Palo Alto just full of college sophomore blood.
Yeah. And that joke about Gen Z skipping buying houses so billionaires can drink their plasma. Darkly funny.
It really is. Okay, shifting gears dramatically for number 5 on our top 10 journey.
The dictator who built a city for ghosts. Where are we now?
Turkmenistan. And its former leader, Sapar Murat Niyazov.
Turkmenbashi, leader of all Turkmen.
And father of all Turkmen, yes.
Yeah.
His attempts at immortality, according to the top research, were less about biology and more about just rewriting reality.
How do you even do that?
Well, he renamed things. Months of the year, days of the week, after himself and his family.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. And he poured state money into building this insane capital city, Ashgabat. All white marble. A monument to himself, basically.
Like a personal Oz.
Kind of. And then there was his book, the Runama.
I've heard of this. It wasn't just a book, right?
Not even close. It was treated like a holy text. Government workers had to study it. Niyazov claimed reading it guaranteed you passage to heaven.
That's next level self-belief. Or delusion.
Right. Controlling the present and the afterlife.
It's a theme. We were thinking, doing the top research for the top 10 journey. Imagine Jeff Bezos declaring the 7 habits of highly effective people is the new Bible and building a city out of Amazon echoes. Okay, I see the parallel.
And maybe death just got bored waiting for the Runama sequel and decided Niyazov's time was up.
A fittingly bizarre endnote. Okay, number 4 on our top 10 journey gets into, well, science fiction territory. Or maybe religion.
It's a blurry line. The millionaire who swapped bodies, or so he claimed. L. Ron Hubbard.
Founder of Scientology. Always controversial.
Definitely. And the top research suggests that within Scientology circles, he apparently claimed his physical body was just temporary.
Like a rental.
Sort of, that he planned to leave it behind and inhabit a new one. Drop the body, as they say.
Okay.
So when he died in 1986, the official explanation given to followers wasn't that he died, but that he'd voluntarily moved on to a higher operating level.
Implying his consciousness just carried on.
Exactly. And there have been rumors ever since, though never confirmed by the church, about a potential new Hubbard showing up.
Really?
Yeah, and even stories, like you find in some sources, about a house being kept ready, fully furnished, just waiting for his return.
Wow, that's dedication. Or something.
It's a strange mix of spiritual belief and very practical preparation. Our thought during the top research for the top 10 journey was, it's like cosmic level ambition.
Or maybe just rage quitting the mortal realm to respawn in patch 2.0.
That works too.
All right, we're into the top 3 of the top 10 journey. Number 3, the Russian billionaire who wanted a robot body by 2045.
Dmitry Itskov. This was huge news a few years back. The 2045 initiative.
Right. The goal was cybernetic immortality by 2045. Super ambitious.
Insanely ambitious. His plan had phases. First, remote-controlled robot avatars that look like you.
Okay, like in the movie Surrogates.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then phase 2 was transplanting a human brain into one of these robot bodies.
Oh!
And the final phase, the end game, was uploading human consciousness entirely, leaving the biological brain behind, living purely as software in an artificial body.
So full digital immortality.
That was the dream. The top research outlined these stages, deadlines like creating the first avatars by 2020.
Which didn't quite happen on that scale.
No. The initiative seems to have stalled quite a bit. The tech challenges are just immense. But it shows that desire, right? Using extreme tech to beat death.
Yeah, absolutely. We were joking during the top research for the top 10 journey.
Yeah.
It's like trying to become a playable character in Cyberpunk 2077.
Totally. And imagine needing antivirus software for your soul.
Right. Okay, number 2 on the top 10 journey. Back to ancient history again.
The empress who ate mercury to become a god. Qin Shi Huang, first emperor of China.
The terracotta army guy.
That's him. Monumental builder, but also completely obsessed with living forever. The top research shows he sent out expeditions to find immortals, hired alchemists.
All looking for that elixir of life.
Exactly. But here's the tragic twist. The alchemists at the time thought mercury was key to immortality.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So Emperor Qin ended up drinking mercury, lots of it, apparently, believing it would make him immortal.
And instead.
It killed him. Mercury poisoning.
Wow. The ultimate backfire, all that power, all those resources, and he poisons himself trying not to die.
It's incredibly ironic. We called it a peak rich guy move during our top research for the top 10 journey. So powerful, your attempt at immortality kills you faster.
Unbelievable.
And apparently his tomb is still supposed to have really high mercury levels. So maybe he left a toxic legacy, if not an immortal one.
A radioactive ghost. Okay, we've reached number 1 on our top 10 journey. This one feels very now.
Extremely now. The Silicon Valley vampire who declared himself immortal and sued anyone who disagreed. Brian Johnson.
The tech founder, right?
Braintree. Yep. He's poured millions into this thing called Project Blueprint. The goal, explicitly reverse his biological age.
And the methods are intense.
That's putting it mildly. The top research details this insane regimen. Lasers, sound therapy, hundreds of pills a day.
Okay.
A super strict diet, constant monitoring, and the one that gets all the headlines, plasma infusion.
The young blood thing again.
But even more specific, he was getting plasma transfusions from his own teenage son.
From his son. Wow, okay.
Yeah. He claims he's significantly reversed his biological age, like his heart age and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's very public at it all.
And the suing part.
Apparently, yes. He's reportedly taken legal action against critics. Hence, the vampire who sues angle.
That is quite the combination.
It really is. The thought that stuck with us during the top research for this top 10 journey.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
It was this image of someone scientifically trying to reverse puberty.
Right.
While basically being the world's most ethical Dracula.
That's disturbingly accurate.
And it led to that provocative question. Would you give your blood if it made someone else, like, hotter or younger?
Yeah, that definitely makes you think. Wild stuff.
Absolutely wild. Before we wrap up this top 10 journey, we should do a quick fact blast zone. Just some other quick hits we found.
Good idea. There were loads more, weren't there?
Oh, yeah. Like that Chinese tech mogul who spent $100 million trying to upload his consciousness.
And ended with just a chatbot, right?
Apparently so. Then there's the whole Walt Disney cryo-freezing urban legend. Totally debunked, but persistent.
And that quack doctor, John Brinkley. Goat testicle implants for vitality.
Yes. Made a fortune in the 20s. Pure quackery. And Nicholas Flamel, the alchemist, supposedly listed as eternal in some old Freemason records.
You found a Saudi prince who declared his island a non-dying zone.
Believe it or not, banned death on the island. How you enforce that, I don't know.
Steve Jobs being offered digital reincarnation.
Yeah, by an AI company near the end of his life. And we mentioned Itzkov's 2045 initiative already.
What about political figures?
Well, Nicolas Maduro building that shrine for Hugo Chavez, presenting him as an immortal spiritual force.
Right. And LA clinics offering sheep placenta injections.
Yep, another weird anti-aging fad. And that theory about Jean Calment, the 122-year-old woman, possibly being an identity thief.
That was fascinating. And the Japanese billionaire wanting a girlfriend to live forever on the moon with him.
Yeah. Yusaku Maezawa. He canceled that contest, though. And finally, the really grim stuff, like Nazi anti-aging experiments with adrenal glands.
Yeah, a dark reminder of where obsession can lead.
Definitely. So that concludes our top 10 journey, really, into this bizarre world of trying to cheat death.
From pharaohs needing passports to tech guys swapping plasma with their kids.
Clear the desire strong, and with enough money, the attempts get creative.
Hopefully this top 10 journey gave everyone listening some WTF moments, but also maybe something to think about.
Yeah, it really makes you consider your own feelings about mortality, doesn't it? What lengths would you go to, or not?
So reflecting on this whole top 10 journey, what stood out most to you listening? Which one was the most audacious, the most delusional?
Or maybe even weirdly intriguing. We'd love to know what people think.
Yeah. And this top 10 journey covering all these themes, it leaves us with one last thought, really.
What's that?
If you had the money, the resources, would you try to hack reality to live longer? Or is there maybe some wisdom in just accepting that life is finite? That's definitely something to go fact yourself on.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on Go Fact Yourself, the Top 10 Lists podcast.
Share, rate, follow.
And go fact yourself.